My name is Dr. Dorothy Ellis Martin. I'm a retired professor of cultural anthropology and sociology at Lorain County Community College, but I did teach at um, Cleveland State, University of Toledo, College of Worcester, and Oberlin College. I am now retired and spending my time rehabbing houses. It was a project that began in the 90s to help my students because community colleges have no dormitories. And I started taking students home, but in a 3-bedroom condo, you get limited real quick. So we started buying houses on one street in Elyria, rehabbing them and renting them to students. Since I've retired, we've expanded to low-income individuals, people who are on SSI, SSD, or unemployment, or whatever makes their life difficult. And we'd like to give them a decent house. We ended up in Cleveland helping a student, and so we own a house on Elton Avenue, and it came with 2 buildings. One faces Elton and one faces West 73rd. We got that in July of 2000. And we were working on the house and cleaning up the vacant lot. There's a vacant lot on the corner, and picking up trash and mowing the grass. And we went to the IX Center and ran into the land bank people who had a booth and found out that we could actually own the property. And so we've been working to get that attached to our property. How I ended up understanding or getting involved with this group, we were working on our property on Elton, and someone put a flyer about 3 weeks ago that talked about Detroit Shoreway and how certain individuals are getting a hard time keeping their houses. So we started attending the meeting every week, and I've learned a little bit more as we go along. I guess we're here, my husband and I. He's my partner in crime, Dr. Orrin Martin, psychologist. But I laugh and say I'm the mouth of the Cuyahoga. I do the talking in the family. And he's the grand support. And we are here because we don't think human beings should be placed in a situation where they have nowhere to stay. In fact, our goal always have been, if you have a decent place to put your head at night, you can get up every morning and go face the dragons. So we've always made the houses the best we could afford. In fact, it took us 10 years to fix the 2-bedroom house on Elton to a stage where we felt we could rent it, because we wanted it to be insulated, high energy windows, and all of that. So when I heard from these meetings at the neighborhood on Colgate that people were being tossed out of their homes, some have lived in there for decades, some wanted to stay, people were showing up at their doorstep from Detroit Shoreway and saying, we're going to change your locks. Others were saying, you better leave by Saturday, and this was on a Wednesday. It just seemed horrible that they would treat human beings that way. Everyone wants a better neighborhood. That's not the point. But you don't make a better neighborhood by displacing the people who are there without help. Go find a place. It's very difficult to find decent housing in Cleveland. And some people are disabled, so they have certain requirements. I have to have a first floor. I have to have a bathroom on the first floor. I have a service animal. You can't just go look in the paper and say, I want to move in, and you're in. So I just think how Detroit Shoreway got the properties and then flipped them. I mean, which is what I call it. When you buy it, you don't fix it up and you get it to someone else. And so many people are so displaced that it's painful. It shouldn't happen. It's not what they're doing, but it's how they're doing it. And that is just not right, period. People without a lot of money are humans and should be treated with respect and dignity, I feel. Well, besides supporting the housing needs of people on Colgate and this area, which I was surprised, I didn't know this was Detroit Shoreway too. Okay, I thought they were near Detroit and the Shoreway, and that we were too far inland for them to be bothered with us, and here they come. Is that between our 2 properties on Elton is a vacant lot, as I mentioned before. And I found out it was in the land bank, and I could get it. So we applied in 2013. The land bank approved it, and we have emails that said, Detroit Shoreway said, we have no interest in it. Matt Zone said, I support their application. And everything was great. They approved it. And then heard nothing. And the years went by. We said, oh, they're just busy. They got lots of houses in the land bank. You know, that's all right. They'll get around to us. And then last year, when I contacted them, I said, what's happening with that property? Do we get it? Oh, we're giving it to Detroit Shoreway. You didn't tell me? You didn't call? You didn't write? I said, no, that's not right. And I told Detroit Shoreway and wrote them. I said, this land has history. We've taken care of it. We have been approved for it. Why don't you find some other vacant lot? And so our fight with them has been, now what has happened is the land bank didn't give it to them outright because of our protests. Said, okay, we'll lease it to them for 1 or 2 years. Okay, I never heard of such a thing. I said, why do you want to, as a land bank, be a landlord by committee? But I don't get responses from them. I write them every couple of months to let them know I'm still interested. They don't answer. And that's the way it goes. But I will keep protesting. My first year of their lease is almost up. I got 1 more year to go. They said our application is still in process. But Detroit Shoreway wants it, and I want to see if they're going to get it. I'll still fight anyway till the end. They may still get it, but it's not going to be just roll over and play dead. So those are my 2 comments and my 2 ideas regarding what's going on. I'm pleased, though, I heard that many of the tenants that were distressed have found places, and some of the places they're found are actually better than the ones they left. But I still think how things happened is just not the way to do things. And so we will support them as long as we can. We're thinking, we meaning this committee, this informal grassroots efforts, are thinking of expanding that once tenants find places, we would like to stay in existence to help the neighborhood and start a mutual aid network where we can share our strengths and our talents with each other and, you know, make the neighborhood stay a neighborhood in spite of all the changes that are going on. So I hope it doesn't disband once the crisis is over and everyone has a new place. I hope we can keep alive and doing great things for the neighborhood. We can't wait for nonprofits and the government to do everything, that we should do things for ourselves. So that's what I have to say. Yes. One big clip.
Perfect. So what I'm going to do is use that to sync the audio you recorded together.
This is the other side of the thing. Okay. I'm clapping for myself.